creations. If you're new to my channel and you're stopping by for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while by clicking that red button for more crafting on a budget, more everything on a budget videos to come. And if you click it again when the bell appears, YouTube should notify you every time I upload a new video, depending on the option that you choose in the drop-down menu of the bell. If you're interested in following me on social media, you can find those links in the description box below. What have I got going on for you for today? My, oh my, do I have a DIY for you using this wood-pressed word, love, that the Dollar Tree is carrying for Valentine's Day. When I saw this, I instantly was inspired for today's DIY. This is exactly what I saw when I saw this word, and I thought, wow, this is such a fun piece. I can't wait to put this together, and I was really hoping that when I put it together, it came out the way I was visualizing it in my head, and it really did. I'm really excited about this piece because not only is it a budget-friendly piece, but it is one of those pieces that can very easily, like I always say, be done to suit any decor style, and it's a piece that if you want to keep it up year-round outside of Valentine's Day, you very easily can. So let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into it and let me show you what I have in mind for you today using this wood-pressed word, love, that the Dollar Tree is carrying for Valentine's Day now. For this DIY, you're gonna need 4 of these love wall decor plaques the Dollar Tree is carrying right now. It's Valentine's Day, so if you like this DIY, you're gonna wanna pick up these before Valentine's Day passes and you can't get your hands on them anymore. You're gonna need 1 of the wood heart wall decor plaques. This is the larger plaque. And you're also gonna need 6 of Dollar Tree's pillar candles in any color because you're gonna get creative and you're gonna make this your own. We're gonna start off by removing the metal hangers that are on the back of this. You're gonna need to unscrew them. They're not ones that can be pulled out without damaging the plaque itself. Once we've got all 4 of the hangers removed, I'm gonna use some of Krylon's Satin Almond spray paint to spray paint these because I feel like because I'm doing 4 of these and I have this spray paint on hand, it's gonna be a lot quicker and I can keep this DIY moving along. If you wanna go the more budget-friendly route, you can use a Waverly chalk paint or even an apple barrel paint. It's gonna take a couple coats, but it'll get the job done. Once you've got these completely painted, using 2 pieces of 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper, that's all you're gonna need. You're gonna pick out a pattern that you really like. I liked this pattern a lot because it had the wood, it had these cream flowers on it, which was the look I was going for. Hobby Lobby has a great open stock selection of paper that are 25 cents a piece, so it's gonna cost you 50 cents in paper if you don't have a stash of scrapbooking paper already. You're gonna place your plaque face down on the back side of your scrapbooking paper, and each paper you should be able to get 2 plaques traced. Once you've got them traced out, you're gonna go ahead and cut out the word that you've just traced. No need for perfection because later on we're gonna be sanding this, so if it isn't perfectly straight, it's okay. For the heart in the center of the O, if you use an X-Acto knife to cut it out, you can remove it pretty easily. Dollar Tree has a pretty cool X-Acto knife by Crafter's Square if you can get your hands on it. It's got 6 different blades, which I think is really cool, so if you see one, I definitely grab it and add it to your crafting supplies. To adhere the scrapbooking paper onto the plaque, I'll be using my favorite method, which is Mod Podge. You're gonna wanna give this plaque a nice first good coating of Mod Podge. Once you've covered it in Mod Podge, you're gonna go ahead and lay that scrapbooking paper down on top of the plaque. Get it nice and applied, rub it in, get those air bubbles out. Once it's good and on your plaque, you're gonna wanna apply a second coat of Mod Podge. This is really just gonna seal the paper and help it to adhere a bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and place all 4 of these plaques in the oven on the lowest temperature that my oven will go, which is 135 degrees, just to get this dried a bit quicker. Mod Podge takes a while to dry, especially in the winter time. So by popping it in the oven for about 10 or 15 minutes, it's gonna be good and dry and you'll be ready to move on to the next step of this DIY. Once you've got your scrapbooking paper applied to all 4 of your plaques, you should be left with your plaques looking like this. 3 of them where the word love is backwards, which would be the back side of your plaque, and 1 of the plaques where the word love looks normal. Trust me, there is a method to my madness because it's gonna work out in the end. For this next step, if you're not going with the rustic distressed farmhouse style, you can skip it, but because I am doing this to suit my decor, which is that of the rustic farmhouse aged distressed look, I'm gonna take some sandpaper and I'm gonna sand up the edges, really rough them up, and just distress this, give it some age, make it look like it has a story, like it's been places, which is something that I love. I'm gonna really just get into that paper. I wanna roughen up that paper, kind of take it away from some of the edges, and I'm using a rougher sandpaper to do that, and I'm gonna do that to all 4 of my plaques. It may seem like a lot of work, but when you're sanding and you're using a rougher sandpaper, it moves along pretty quickly, and you get the look you're looking for pretty easily. It doesn't take a lot of work. To distress these plaques, give them that dark aged look, I'll be using some of Waverly's Wax Antique. This is kind of a paint or a sealant, it's a protectant, it works really great for distressing. I'm not going with ink pads today. If you want to use an ink pad, you can. I just really like to kind of switch things up and show you that there are different ways, techniques, methods of achieving that aged distressed look on the edges, and this is just one of them. Waverly's Antique Wax Sealant, if you want to call it, is amazing, and since I already had it out for this DIY, I figured that this was perfect. It's gonna dry and it's gonna do what I need it to do. You can get a bottle of this at Walmart for about, it's under $2, I know that much. I think the wax is a bit more expensive than the chalk paint itself. When distressing this, I'm gonna do the edges, I'm gonna do the sides here as well, because I really just don't want these bright, stark cream edges, because it's gonna stand out and that's gonna take away from the piece. And so I'm gonna darken these up, dirty them up, age them up a bit, and I'm gonna do the same to the back, because although we're not really gonna be showing the back of this plaque, it is going to show just a bit, and so you really wanna draw as little attention to it as possible. And so by aging it and darkening it up, it's gonna kind of disguise it, I guess you can say. All 4 of my plaques are good and distressed, and I think they're looking amazing. I don't look for perfection when distressing these. Don't worry too much about if one looks more distressed than the other. I think it just adds an element of character, and that makes it all the more better. Now taking some of this quick grip glue, this is my new favorite glue that you can find at Michael's. This is a quick grab, quick dry. It is an all-purpose permanent adhesive, and it adheres to anything. I've seen such great results with this. If you want to use E6000, you can. I have just really found that this glue dries within an hour, to where E6000, it takes a while for the glue to dry and cure. And with this glue, you don't have to do that. So I'm gonna take my first plaque, and you can see that this is a plaque where the word love is backwards. And on the top part of the plaque here, I'm gonna apply glue in just these areas. Then I'm gonna take 2 of my plaques, and I'm going to glue them together just like so. And you can see that the E's on both plaques line up, the V's line up, the O and the L's. And so that's how you'll know that you're putting the plaques together correctly. Then I'm gonna take on the bottom of another plaque, I guess you could say, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second, and I'm gonna add glue to the bottom parts of the plaque. So if you just kind of do this DIY and you follow along with how I'm putting it together, it'll probably be a lot easier, because it's not super easy to explain how you're doing it. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna place these together, and you're gonna know that you're putting these together correctly if the letters match up together. Instead of placing the glue on this last plaque on the plaque itself, I'm gonna just place the glue on the areas of the ones that are already glued together, because I feel like it's easier to see what areas are gonna touch. Once I've got the glue applied, I'm just gonna place my last plaque here, And you can see here that we've got this together, and I know you're probably seeing here that there is a plaque that the scrapbooking paper is on the inside, and that was because I did mess up originally, but that's the whole magic of YouTube, is I can mess up and I can learn from my mistakes and I can bring you an unconfusing DIY. Yeah. Now while I'm waiting for the glue on the love plaques to dry, I'm gonna take, again, the Waverly wax, and I'm gonna call it wax paint because I feel like that's what I need to say with it. And I'm gonna give one of these wood heart plaques a good coating of this on the front and the back side and the sides. Now, I know that this isn't a paint, it is a wax finish, which is meant to be rubbed off after you apply it on a paint, but this wax really acts as a stain. And I say that because when you apply it the way I am to a raw finished wood plaque like this, you still get that element of the wood grain showing through, which is a look that I personally really like when I'm going for that rustic look. If you want to use a solid brown paint or you're doing this in color, you can, but because, like I've said before, I'm doing this to suit my decor, I liked the stain wood looked finish. And so I have had people in the past tell me, well, that's a wax finish. It's not meant to dry. It's not gonna dry. Yes, it does. It dries well. It doesn't rub off. It doesn't stick. It dries just as well as a stain or a paint would dry. And so to me, this is just another technique of staining or distressing or aging something using this Waverly wax, and it works amazing. And I personally just love the color brown that it gives. My glue is completely dry, so now we get to put this together. Again, using some of the beacon glue, I'm gonna apply some of the glue to the top part of this stand here. Then I'm just gonna set this wood heart right on top, centering it. Now, because I really want this heart to adhere to this, I'm gonna place a couple of books right on top just to give it some weight and pressure. For the top of this stand, I'm gonna use it for candles, so I picked up 6 of these pillar candles from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going with the cream ones, which are the vanilla. And again, using the beacon glue, I'm gonna place some of the glue on one of the candles on top, and I'm gonna stack these candles. I'm gonna stack 1 3 high and the second set 2 high, and then just have one individual candle left on its own. Once these candles are dry, using some of this burlap that I got from, I believe, Target at the dollar stop. I always do that. This burlap was $1 for the roll, which is amazing, and I like it because the edges are sewn. I'm gonna use this to disguise the seams of where we glued the candle together. I feel like by covering it with this burlap, it's gonna look like one solid candle. And you know, when you go to buy these pillar candles, the bigger they are, the taller they are, the more expensive they are. A price comes with that. And so by using Dollar Tree candles, this is an easy way to achieve that same look for a fraction of the cost. And so with the larger one, I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 pieces of burlap. I didn't much like how it looked separated because there were the 2 seams, and so I found that if I pushed the burlap together, it was still covering the seams, and it looked better even though it was a thicker piece of burlap. Now, for the center of this burlap, I am gonna be using these paper flowers that you can find at Michael's in their dollar bins. These flowers for the 3-pack were $2, but I really like these flowers, and so these are what I'm gonna use. I think it'll be perfect for the center of the burlap, only these flowers are a bit too big. And so I figured that if I took just a few of the layers off from the back, it would make the flowers a bit smaller. I don't want to draw all the attention to these oversized flowers that would be on these candles. I want them to be proportionate with it. Something that's just going to add as an accent or an embellishment, not something that's going to take away from the rest of the piece. And so just by making these a bit smaller, you can do that. When doing that, you just want to make sure that you add back the greenery to the back of the flowers just to make it a more finished look. couple weeks ago when I was at Target, I saw that they had this handmade with love stamp for $1. And so I just thought, you know what, this is something that I had been wanting to do for a while, signing and dating all of my pieces. When I saw this stamp, I was like, I love the idea of that. I'm gonna stamp it, I'm gonna sign it, and I'm gonna date it. So years from now, when the kids look back at these pieces, they'll be able to see, hey, mom made this in February of 2020. I think that that's just a cool idea. This here is my finished, I guess, candle holder, I'm gonna call it, because that's what I'm using it for. I love the feel of this. I love actually the rustic feel of this. This was a fun, budget-friendly piece to make. And again, this is a piece that could be made to suit any decor style. It's a piece that you can use for just about anything. A plant, a picture. You could even just put one solid 3-wick candle on a stand on it, and I think that it would look amazing. This is a DIY, so you take what you like and you get rid of the rest, you get creative, and you make it your own. That's what I say. How fun is this piece? I love the outcome of this. I love the rustic farmhouse feel that it has to it. And I don't know, I like it in general. I think it is just such a different piece, and it's a fun piece, and it is definitely one of those eye-catching pieces that people are gonna see in your home, and I think that they're really gonna like it and wonder where you got it from. I hope you all enjoyed today's DIY. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get this video to 5,000 likes. Because like I always say, each and every one of your thumbs up and those comments that you do leave down below, they really do help my channel to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice me just a bit more. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget, and bye for now, everybody.